Hey everyone, it's Dinosaur, and I'm back, and I've come back from the premiere of 50 Shades of Grey, and I'll tell you, I was really uncomfortable going there single, because I really thought like I would be the only one there, and it'd be total perv. Something similar to the Boy Next Door with Jennifer Lopez. I was like, not really looking forward to this, but said I'd do it, so here I am. So I did it, and I gotta say that the movie wasn't bad. It was actually there were some very funny moments in the movie, but uh, I I have to disagree with some things about the movie in particular. But first of all, before I even get to that, on that, the book itself, Fifty Shades of Grey, was actually noted for promoting a lot of sex, like from bondage sex, sadism, pain loving, on and on and on. And which in effect, the whole plot line of a movie is this controlling dude named Gray, Christian Gray, which I think it's ironic his name is Christian, but is Christian Gray. He is such a control freak that he doesn't want a relationship, but he wants control. And the whole plot line goes over is that this guy Christian goes out, and when he finds a girl that he really likes, he wants them to participate in his bondage or submissive games on that, so to speak. Basically, signed up sex slavery on that. But at the same time, you get him devoted and pretty much all the fringe benefits. Here's the thing, though, with the whole film. Okay, what the classic story here is that you have the woman who's trying to save the bad man. Now the woman, the main woman in the story, Anastasia, she is like the perfect 4.0 GPA, literature major, good luck finding a job, living up in Seattle, doesn't really know, has parents that are divorced, and has never been in love, and never, you find out later, never had sex. And version. Then she meets this Christian Grey. Now, Christian Grey is, on the surface, pretty much what every guy wants to be. On that, I'm talking the 8-pack abs. I'm talking the Brad Pitt Fight Club V-neck down towards the crotch, if you know what I mean. The really thin cut skin. He can drive fast cars. He has money. He's fashionable. He flies helicopters. He flies planes. He has an awesome place to live. Pretty much any guy would want to be that have all those things and have those skills, and not to mention he's good in business and everything else. However, he has a very dark past, and which we find later on in the film. The girl is kind of the naive lamb, so to speak. It doesn't know about the world and doesn't know about crazy, I don't know, predatory type guys. I don't know how else you would put it. But here's what it is. You have Christian, this character, who's actually starting to like this girl and really wants her to participate in this thing. And he meets her and he takes her out to eat a couple of times, and then he offers her, and he keeps telling her, I'm not the romantic guy, I want to be controlling, I want to do these things. He makes her sign a non-disclosure agreement, which actually when you're super rich like he was in this film, or super famous, there is that non-disclosure agreement is a lot more common than most people would believe. Specifically, like, for hypothetically, let's just say Jennifer Lopez wanted to date me. I bet you she would make me sign a non-disclosure agreement before I would even go out on my first date. I'll bet you. And he claims the lawyers want it. That's the thing. But it's more common. So anyway, he follows this girl, Anastasia, around, and he then eventually offers her a contract that basically makes her his pleasure toy. And by in return, she was gonna get like hang out with him, have money, everything she pretty much dreamed, but not love. And that was the whole film. Where she eventually, the whole film, like graphically, it doesn't show like porn, because if it showed intercourse on that, that would be X. But it was pretty much softcore Showtime after midnight stuff on that. It's just it's there. So he's here, and and the whole thing is like, it's rough stuff. It's just he's tying her up, on that he's spanking her, all this fun, and she's getting a kick and high out of it. Okay, out of it too, but at the same time, she goes crazier, crazier. But you find out she was a virgin, and here's a guy who then later on tells her he's been with 15 other women, and he kind of knows what he's doing. And then to the virgin, he's a cat's meow. So it's not too surprising. But here's the thing about this whole film, is during the whole film they talk about the contract. And the big spoiler here is the contract was never signed. She did a lot of this stuff on her own free will. Now, why, you may ask this, why would she do that? On that, because she fell in love. And she told him that towards the end of the film. Okay. And, you know, it's just, you have a classical story of, you have a very young, naive girl trying to change a very mean person. And in this case, it would be Gray. A person that yet he's in love, he can never trust women, because then you find out Gray was born from a crackhead who died when he was a child, and then mind you, when he was 15 years old at his adopted family, a family friend took him in and made him be the submissive, and he did that for 6 years, and then from there, he had the other women before here on that. So here's the thing. So he does all this, and he's all messed up in the head, and he's realizing that he's actually probably in love with Anastasia. But he's so geared in his own way, saying, "I must punish you for asking these questions." And Anastasia eventually tells him that you have to make me understand, you have to, do your worst. And somehow his worst bundled down to 6 lashings with a belt on her rear end by having her count. And I mean, we're talking not just we're talking wind up smack. And then she all cried and said, "How could you do this? How could you do that goat thing?" And then she tells him she loves him. He says, "You can't love me. Don't do that to me." And then she says, "Just leave." And she eventually walks out and leaves him. Well, you have the classic, I think I mentioned this earlier, you have the classical tale where a good girl in her good heart was trying to change a bad boy, so to speak. Which this guy wasn't just a bad boy. He was like off the charts, just like, wow. Now, and that. But then you had the guy who found someone that was literally untouched, and something unique to him. That he's had other stuff. He never had anything like this. And it's messing with his brain, such as some of the things he says, "I don't sleep with women," yet he does. Yet he did in this case like twice, I think, in the whole thing. And I mean, it's great. There was great comedy through it, though. It's like they have a business meeting about what's allowed in this whole sex slavery and what's not on that. Now, that's just the whole run of the movie. It's just you have a girl, and eventually at the end she realizes there's nothing she could do, and is hurt and leaves the man, Gray. but has all these sexual like fantasies fulfilled and take it. Now, really, did she really leave? Because no one's ever done that to her, so now she's warped in the head a little bit because she doesn't know anything else on that, or had any experience with anything else. Now, the nudity with Dakota Johnson was constant in the whole film. I mean, throughout the whole film, nudity, nudity, nudity. Not too many frontal shots, or if that's what you're asking or wondering. That there was one moment of graphicness with Gray, which, Harry, I'll just say that much. That was a little graphic, but the whole concept of the film doesn't make any sense. First of all, if he had the same stuff that he did with Anastasia in this film with 15 other women, and this never got out, even with non-disclosure agreement, chances are those women are dead. Because no one, even if they sign a non-disclosure agreement, would ever allow that to be quiet on that. Second thing on the film is that Anastasia kind of willfully went along with this because she loved Gray. Because she loved the image what she thought he was, until she found out what he really was. And simply a man who liked to beat women, because he was beaten on as a child and he doesn't know any other way. And that's the thing. Now, that's not making any excuses, but that's the truth. Now, here's the other thing. Many churches said this is an attack on marriage, and how someone is signing a contract. And I remember reading this before I saw the film. And the thing is, now that I've seen the film, is that she never signed the contract. She willfully agreed to this. So, no, so that's the first thing that's kind of on that, about that. Second thing is that, sex is a powerful, powerful tool on that. It's an expression of love, yes, but sex has also been known to cause wars and destroy empires. There's countless many. You can talk about Shakespeare. You can even talk about King David and Bathsheba. On that, it's constantly there. It's always been there on that, and it's always gonna be there on that. But here's the thing about the film is that they use all these tools and like these torture devices and like ice cubes and feathers and flogging leather thing where he just kind of drags it across her. Okay, I do know that when either relationships or marriages get stale or they're looking for something, sometimes they explore these options. That's not out of context because that happens on that. Or they'll do it in some weird place or something. So, as far as an attack on the sacred institution of marriage, I question that because this had nothing to do with marriage. This has to do with a naive individual being taken advantage of by a sadistic individual on that, which then she realizes what a monster he is at the end. Regardless, she still loves him on that. That's the thing. So I disagree with the fact that they're saying this is an attack on marriage on that, because I think those who wrote it may not have read the book or seen the movie, because it's not the point of the whole film. The point is that this perfect individual was really a monster on that, a monster because he was treated as the victim previously, and he didn't know how to be any other way. He knew this was he thought this was normal. So, and so that's the whole point of that film, about the relationship and how bitter it was at the end. So, I mean, whether is it worth seeing in the theaters? Meh. Don't do the RPX $14. I got jerked into that because I wanted to see it first showing at 10:30 rather than 11, but that's my own problem. But I'm just saying, it's an interesting story, but tons of nudity. Get ready for it. And just whatever. Anyway, this is Dinosaur. Talk to y'all later.